Welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to talk about forest discovery. If you want to know exactly what forest discovery is and when to use, stay tuned. So discovery. Configuration Manager has many options for discovery, and discovery basically means, well, let's find out what exactly is in our network. In the forest discovery, mainly that we are going to cover on this video, we'll talk about the forest and trusted relationship we have, and also IP addresses, Active Directory sites, and so on and so forth. On this documentation website, Configure Discovery Methods for Configuration Manager, the first one, it talks about Active Directory discovery. And basically what we are going to discover is, we are going to discover our network. We can actually, if your Active Directory team did a good job adding the sites, subnets, and so on, we can actually collect that information and use that information on our advantage. So we don't need to actually all the time create a new boundary. We can just leverage forest discovery to do this for us. So what I'm going to do here in Configuration Manager, the first thing here in administration, I'm going to clean up the boundaries and boundary groups we created on the last video. If you missed the last video, the link will be down in the description below. So let me delete those. And also let me delete the boundaries that we created. Okay, so now I don't have boundaries, I don't have boundary group. So what I'm going to do here in the administration hierarchy configuration discovery methods, I'm going to create or discover the forest and just going to click properties. The first step here is to enable. So, and then when I am enable, this is going to happen quite often. This often basically means what the schedule I have. This case here, I'm going to put every week. And the discovery, what you can see here, is going to discover sites, subnets, Active Directory information, and so on. So I can actually automatically, if I want, create boundaries based on Active Directory sites and convert those Active Directory sites / IP subnets to boundary ranges. And I'm going to click OK here, select as well. So we're going to see exactly what Configuration Manager is doing on our behalf. And click OK. But before clicking OK, what I'm going to do is I'm going to the folder that the logs are. So they are on the D Configuration Manager, Program Files, Microsoft Configuration Manager, logs. Because the log will be created here, then we can actually see if there is any problem. And I'm going to click here, OK. And because I just enable, it's asking me, do you want to run this as soon as possible? I'm going to say yes. So now in matter of seconds, it depends on the environment, actually could be a couple of minutes, the new log for the Active Directory discovery, forest discovery, will be created and we can actually have a look. In the meantime, I'm going to open here CMTrace. Oops, if I can know how to type. And I'm going to browse to this specific folder and hopefully the log will be created soon. Okay, so the log just created, took a little bit longer, the machine is slow today. If I open here, let me just maximize it here, you can see it started and discover a IP subnet. So now let's have a look what happened in Configuration Manager. So if you go to boundaries, you can see here the IP range has been created and the Active Directory sites they also have been created. No boundary have been created or configured. So this is something that you will need to do. In this case here, let's just create endpoint managers.com and let's add the Active Directory site and the IP subnet or P range, and let's add the computer that the client can connect to. So instead of creating boundary by boundary by boundary, I let Active Directory to do the work because the Active Directory is actually configured the way it should be. So if I go here on my configuration manager, my Active Directory, so go to Active Directory sites. You can see here endpoint managers. I have, subnets, I have 172.16.2540.24. That's actually connected to my endpoint managers site. So configuration manager did the work for me. Basically, I don't need to create every single boundary. I just need to create the boundary group. So also, it's not just that. If you go further here in Active Directory forests, because I did a forest discovery, configuration manager discover my forest, my endpoint managers forest, what's domain connect to that forest. So in this case, I only have one. What's the discovery stats of that and the publishing status of that forest. So in this case here, if I right click to properties, publishing, I know that the configuration manager is being published, and I go back here because the information is being published in the Active Directory. If I have multiple forests, multiple domains, let's assume they don't have trust, I could come back here and specify the domain server. I can specify a account that's going to have rights to read and write on that domain if I want to do the publishing. But this is what the Active Directory Forest Discovery does for us, and just make sure it's actually helping us to do some work. So it's not doing the work for us, it's doing part of the work that it doesn't require us as administrator to do the work. Okay, now we saw everything about forest discovery. Now we know how to troubleshoot, how to configure, and, well, how to use basically in conjunction with boundaries and boundary groups. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Just remember to use the hashtag AskRaphael. And if you got any value out of this video, smash the like button. And hope to see you on the next video. Take care.